haven't read that many sequels. I haven't read that many books. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chella and this is Chella Reads a Bit. Today, the lighting is terrible. I know, but I have my lamp here to help me with my cross stitch. Because today, I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag, which was originally created by Earl Grey Books, and this is Chammy. I'll have them linked down below, but I'm gonna be doing that while I'm cross-stitching. I'm obsessed with cross-stitching, so I figured let's just do a chill mid-year book freakout tag while not freaking out and cross-stitching. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. But before we get into that, if you enjoy my videos, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. I would love to have you here. It really makes my day, and I love seeing you here. So let's get going. But disclaimer. So I know one of the first questions is like best book of the year so far, you know. And there is a vlog that I just finished as of recording this. It's July 17th, and I did a 2-week vlog that I ended Monday or Sunday. No, Monday. So, or yesterday, Tuesday. Don't quote me. So either the 16th or the 15th, don't remember. But the book that I'm going to be talking about, I have not talked about in a previous video. It's in that vlog, but that vlog is probably not going to come out until after this video because my laptop is being a piece of shit. So, and it'd just be easier for me to get this video done than dealing with what's wrong with my computer and dealing with those clips. So this is going to come out before that, but I'm not going to go very in depth with that book because I talk about it in that vlog. So I will say what book it is, but I won't go too much into it. So with that disclaimer done, let's get into it. But like I said, the lighting is going to be bad because this lamp helps me see a little better. So I am situated, and I'm going to be looking at my iPad because it has my the questions, and it also has the books that I've read for my Goodreads because I could not remember at all. But this is gonna be very chill, just me cross-stitching and me talking to you. So if I'm not looking here all the time, just know obviously I'm doing something here. The first question is best book that I've read so far in the year 2024. So like I've disclaimed, my answer is one that unfortunately the vlog is not going to be coming out before this, so a lot of my thoughts are in that, but the book is The Jessad Heir by Sarah Hashem, I believe. I love that book. It's 5 stars, and I don't usually give my books ratings until I've run them through Callpile, but I just automatically, immediately, 5 stars. I love that book. I loved the character development. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. I loved the enemies to lovers. I loved the question that is throughout the book. The politics, it was just really good. It's what I wanted from the City of Brass and didn't get, so I really love that book. Technically, also one of the best books that I've read is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I loved that book, but I think The Jessad Heir kind of beat it out just a little bit, but I still really enjoyed that one. It is also one of my favorites of the year. So those two, but Jessad Heir just a little bit more. The next question is best sequel I've read so far this year. So I have not read many books this year. Let me just say I've only read 15 books this year, and I know we are in in July, so it's the 7th month of the year, and I know I'm failing at life, but I'm just sucking at reading right now. Like I've said in a previous video, I started working, and and everything, and like I just have been, I mean, I've obviously been, there's stuff going on, and I just haven't been in the mood. I do read when I'm at work on my breaks, so that's when I've been doing a lot of my reading, but I'm gonna try to get to reading more when I'm home. But like you can see, I've been obsessed with cross-stitching, playing video games, so I find myself when I'm home just not wanting to read. I do work with books, so you know, I do love them, and obviously I still want to continue doing stuff with them, and obviously I still want to read, duh, but I just haven't read a lot. So I haven't read many sequels. So the only real answer I have for this one, don't you just love my scissors? Aren't they cute? But they're embroidery scissors. That can also be used for cross stitch, but they're stork, and it's cute. I love them. But anyways, the only one I could possibly say is, well, I did technically read the third book in the Veronica Speedwell series, and I did enjoy it, but I wouldn't say it's the best. I think my answer would have to be the second book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The second one is Killer Instinct, I believe. I think that the sequel was even better than the first. I had some issues with the first, and the second one also kind of had some of those issues, but I think the second one I just like loved even more. It really had that Criminal Minds feeling. I really enjoyed the learning more about this other character and their background and the things going on with them, and not just the main character, and like adding on to the cast of characters from the first book. I think that one would be the best one, but again, I haven't read that many sequels. I haven't read that many books, so that would be that. The next one is a new release I haven't read yet but want to, and the problem here is that I am not really up to date with new releases, so I don't really have an answer for that. A new release, I don't really have an answer. I honestly do not keep up with new releases. And when I had Fairy Loot, the only way I knew is when I knew that I was getting that Fairy Loot book. But I honestly don't know. I don't know. I guess is it still a new release? The one by Danielle Jensen, Fate, Inked in Blood or something. The Danielle Jensen one, put a picture up to show it, but that one maybe, because it seems like it's interesting. But again, I don't know. I don't really know, and I don't really keep up with new releases. Not that I'm not gonna read new releases, I just don't know what's come out. I've been out the loop. But that probably, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I do not know, honestly. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So like I've stated, I am not really up to date with new releases, but I think, never mind, it keeps getting pushed back. That 4th book in the Morgan Crow series, Silverborn, has been pushed back so much, I can't even tell you. Yeah, it's not gonna be published until like 2025, so we're not gonna talk about it. I guess the only one I can really say is the 9.5 book for the Keeper of the Lost Cities, which is just a 9.5. It's not a full novel, unraveled. It's in keeps perspective in between the time in the 9th book that happens. I won't spoil it, but I guess that's the only one. I currently don't even have my Stellar Loon copies. Because my Barnes & Noble edition is in Thailand with my husband, so he'll hopefully be bringing that. And also my 8.5 that he had gotten me is there too, so I'm missing those, but I am still excited for that to be released, because obviously I still love Keeper of the Lost City. So I guess the only answer I have for that is 9.5 for Keeper of the Lost Cities. Number 5 is biggest disappointment, and do I have more than one for you? I think for it to be a disappointment for me is that I was expecting or wanting to really enjoy it, or was really excited to read it, and that didn't work out. And I think one of them was Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, because it was one of the early, like when I first got Fairy Loot, it was one of the first books that I got. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first. And I really loved it, like the cover and like the stenciled edges. So I like the premise of it. I was like really looking forward to, and I saved it for years because I was like, I didn't want, like, I just thought I was gonna enjoy it. And I read it and I hated it, and it was not a fun time. The writing was a no, the execution was a no. I did not like it. I was very disappointed because I really thought I was going to enjoy it, and it was a very big letdown, and the ending was so pointless. But yeah, so that one was disappointing because I had such high hopes for it. It was so beautiful, and you know, pretty gowns, I guess. And then the other big disappointment is City of Brass. Now let me explain. So I've been hearing such big hype for City of Brass. So many people love it, that I really enjoy watching, and I still enjoy watching them. And like, just because I didn't like that book don't mean anything. And I still respect their opinion. It just wasn't a book for me. And I really thought I was gonna love it because of the premise and everything. And I guess I should have known going in. I didn't have a good time with S.A. Chakraborty or Shannon Chakraborty's writing in Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi, but I also chalk that up to it's a pirate-ish story, and I don't like pirates. I don't like this, like, boats, anything on the sea, those kinds of stories. And it also was very heavily religious, and those are just not something for me. So I was like really hoping maybe the City of Brass would be different. And even though it was kind of different in the fact that it wasn't as religious, it still had that like that in it. It was more prominent than I would have preferred. I also just think that the pacing wasn't for me. The characters fell flat. I hated the male perspective in the story, who's like the other perspective you get. He was very sanctimonious. I just don't care. I just didn't like reading from his perspective, getting his thought broadly. I understand what was trying to be done, but I just couldn't do it, and it just fell flat for me. Like the problem of the story, like the ending, I was just like, so it just didn't work for me. It was, but I was like, had such high expectations, and I don't blame anyone for those expectations. That's my own fault, but it did not live up to them. And I guess the City of Brass just was the biggest disappointment compared to the Carrie Maniscalco one. And that's what I would say, that the Kingdom of the Wicked and City of Brass, very disappointed. Number 6 is biggest surprise, and the Jasad Heir did surprise me in the sense that like I was weary going in because of like the hype that was surrounding it and everything, especially coming off the tails of City of Brass. But I wouldn't say that like that was like the biggest surprise. Looking at my list of books that I've read, I think the biggest surprise would be Bride by Ali Hazelwood, that my sister made me read when I first got home from Thailand. She just threw it at me. She's like, you gotta read this. And I did enjoy it. I did enjoy Bride. I've been weary of going into Ali Hazelwood books because of the things that I've heard about them, especially the Love Hypothesis. But since this one was a fantasy, I was like, fine, I'll read it. and I did have a good time. It was funny, it was interesting. I learned a lot about certain things that I didn't think I needed to know about, but now I know them, and I could have done without it, but here we are. I still enjoyed that book. Had a great time, laughed a lot more than I expected. So with how I am with like romance and books and how I am with like that kind of thing, I was very, very surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I don't think that I would be the kind of person to read Ali Hazelwood's like contemporary stuff, but I did really enjoy Bride and was very, very surprised. Number 7 is favorite new author, debut or new to me. I think in my last mid-year book freak tag from 2023, I think I said this as well. It takes a lot for me to call someone my favorite author. Like, I don't think one book is enough for me to call someone a favorite. I think for me this question is more like authors that I'm interested in reading more from, because there's authors who I'll read one book and it's fine, it is what it is, but an author that I would love to read more or want to read their second book would definitely be Sarah Hashem, who wrote The Jasad Heir, obviously, who is new to me, and Theodora Goss, who wrote The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I want to read the second book, so that one counts as well. Jennifer Lynn Barnes, also never read a book from them either, so I'm excited to read the third book in the Natural series and their other books. Elizabeth Lim, I never read a book by them. I read Six Crimson Cranes, so I'm excited to continue reading from them. And I feel like that's it, because I literally have only read 15 books this year so far. And right now I'm in the middle of a reread of the first book in the Mistborn series, so that doesn't count. I think those would be the answer to my question, but more of like that I'm excited to continue reading from, and not necessarily calling them my favorite author, because I feel like I would need to have a few books that I really, really like for it to be a favorite author. Number 8 is newest fictional crush, and I don't really have crushes on any character. I think I just enjoy characters, but I don't really have a fictional crush, so I don't really have an answer for that one. Number 9 is newest favorite character. Let me think. Last year I know was M-Bot from Skyward series, because they were funny. I think if I had to choose a character, I think it would have to be Sylvia/Essia from The Jasad Heir. Not because she's like necessarily my favorite character, but I think I enjoyed reading from her and seeing her struggle, her grow, her development, and just her as a character was interesting to read, and she was funny at times and took no shit and was so flawed. I think that would probably be my answer. And yeah, I think that would have to be, because I just don't think any characters from the other books I necessarily would say are my favorite. I did enjoy them probably, but not to the extent of like how much like I was interested in seeing her grow and develop in the book. So I guess Sylvia/Essia in The Jasad Heir. Number 10 is a book that made me cry. So I wouldn't say any of these books made me cry, like bawling my eyes out cry, but I think Six Crimson Cranes, like something that happens in that book did have me tearing up, so that one was close. And then the How You Lose the Time War, I'm very still conflicted about that book, but I did have like it did hit me, the end of that book, like it really did kind of hit me in the chest. and I did kind of cry a little bit to that one, so I guess that does count. But so How You Lose the Time War, not sure how I feel about the book in general, but it did make me cry a little bit. And then The Jasad Error a few times had me tearing up at work, so for sure that one, it was so good, and it had me in my feels, like just the things she was going through, the things that happened in that book. Ooh wee. So for sure those. Book that made me happy. And like, this doesn't make any sense from what I just said, but the Jasad Error, while I was reading it, made me happy because I was really enjoying it. It was like hitting like I wanted it to hit, like hitting more than I anticipate, like I didn't anticipate, and it was I was having a good time. Like, I was giddy when I was reading it. And so that one, and then also The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, made me happy because I just enjoyed like seeing all these different characters, like how Theodora Goss like put them all together in this book, and like it was funny, like the little quips and stuff that were in it, like how they wrote it and everything. It just made me happy to read. It did make me happy to read. Other than that, I think that's it. I mean, I did enjoy some other books, but not as much as those. So yeah, I think The Jasad Error and Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. Number 12 is the most beautiful book that I've bought this year or received. I don't know, because I didn't buy any like crazy editions of anything, but I do have like this it's not a it's like it was a Korean webtoon, Who Made Me a Princess. It has a beautiful cover, but obviously a lot of those kinds of like graphic novels, manga, I don't know what the Korean like word for that is, like their art is beautiful, so I don't know if that really counts. I got the new revised edition of The Bone Season, and I think that cover is beautiful, so I guess I would have to say that. Because other than that, I've just gotten regular books. I haven't really gotten any new edition, like beautiful editions of books. So I would have to just say the revised edition. It's just the normal revised paperback of The Bone Season. Number 13 is what books do I need to read by the end of the year? And oh my god, all of them, honestly. Let's be honest with ourselves here. I need to read all of them, but I would really like to finish my reread of the first book of Mistborn, which I've read. Obviously, it's a reread. I need to move on to the second book finally. And then I would like to finish out the trilogy, like the first era, so I can start the second era. Well, I can then start like with what people recommend to read next in the Cosmere universe, because I really want to get the Tress of the Emerald Sea. So and the other ones, I would like to read the Malice series by John Gwynne. I want to do my reread and annotating of Keeper of the Lost Cities, for before the 10th book comes out, which is not going to be for a while, but I also don't have like the copies I have in Thailand, and I'm gonna see if my husband can bring all of them over, but if not, he has like a copy or two that he needs to bring over alongside my Barnes & Noble editions of 8.5 and Stellar Loon, which I need to get a copy of Stellar Loon if he's not going to bring the paperback I got there. But that, I want to read the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I mean, there's like a lot of things I want to read. I need to continue reading Fruits Basket. I need to yeah, there's just read all of my backlist books that I'm not sure I'll even like anymore, but still want to try. So like old YA that I got years ago that I never got to, that I'm still interested in, even though I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy them at all. But yeah, so there's so many things that I want to read and try to get to by the end of the year, but I'm not really that fussed because, as you can see, I'm enjoying doing other things as well. I do read while at work, but so usually when I get home, I'm like, I just don't want to do anything related to books, or like I just don't want to read, and like I feel bad, but at the same time I'm like, well, I'm enjoying this is like making me really, it's like calming me down. Like I don't have my husband here. It just helps me to relax and get my mind to just stop for a little bit. But it's still hard, so I just find myself just wanting to do other things than read. And especially like I was in a pretty big slump, especially after those really bad books. So I don't know, I'm just in a weird place right now, considering the stress and stuff that's going on and what goes into like visa things, saving, like trying to save up money. So I just find myself not reading. I'm just trying to put this in a hole. Thank you. But yeah, I just have been struggling to read, but I still enjoy making booktube videos. I still enjoy reading. It just, like I've said, find myself wanting to do other things a lot of the time. But I'm slowly but surely gonna get to a point where, especially when my husband is here to visit and when he's finally here, I'll be more like at peace and wanting to like do a lot of the things that I was doing before. But right now it's just like I'm just really doing what it is that at the time makes me feel comfortable and makes me feel like I'm not at a 10 every 2 seconds. So that is pretty much that. Went off on a tangent there. That is all of the questions for the mid-year book freakout tag. I know some people add things and everything, but this is where I'm gonna end it. And I hope you enjoyed. I know it's different. I was doing something while talking to you. I hope it still was enjoyable. Sorry I didn't have as much to say. I've only read 15 books this year so far, so it's been a year. It's been a good year while also being a very sad year. Got some news that really was very out of the blue. That was very sad news, but also like unexpected. So that's also adding to everything. So there's a lot going on up here and not a lot of this. And I'm sorry, but I'm still gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue doing this. Hopefully get my computer to stop being stupid, but fingers crossed. But I wanted to still pop in and make this video, do the tag, and do some cross stitching as well at the same time, because that's what I've been really enjoying. And I hope you enjoy the video. If you do enjoy my videos, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. I would love to have you here. It really makes my day, and I love seeing you here. And I'll see you in my next video when I can finally probably edit. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.